Last week we brought you all the modern car action from the Renault Simola Hillclimb, but for those with an appetite for old world charm, the Hillclimb also hosted a separate event for classic cars. Making the day more interesting and more challenging for these magnificent machines and their intrepid drivers was the wet, cold and windy conditions. First of the 30-odd cars entered to brave the conditions was Gino Noli in a pristine and noisy 1937 DKW F7 Meisterklasse Cabriolet. Tony McEwen's beautifully preserved 1929 Bentley 4.5 litre was one of two Bentleys on the entry list and took to the hill with measured dignity. Charles Goodman was behind the wheel of this Bentley Blower Special and wasted no time to show off the British brand's proud sporting heritage, even in the wet. The bright yellow 1963 Lotus 23, piloted here by Di Dugmore, looked the racing car part as it headed up the hill. Hot on her heels was Dave Alexander in his historic 1965 LDS Formula One car. A crowd favourite was this pristine Jaguar E-Type 4.2, driven with enthusiasm by Ron Hollis. Clive Winterstein's beautiful 1957 Porsche 356A wasn't at all intimidated by the rain. Mervyn Corbishley's race-prepped MGA looked handy off the line, while Anton Rolino's 1967 MGB GT benefited from Rover V8 power. The 1959 MGA twin cam of Christopher Champion was another of the 6 MG entries that entertained the Classic Car Friday crowd. Pat Clow put the canvas hood of his 1969 MGB Roadster to good use. Not so lucky was Roger Lewis, crammed into the tight and open cockpit of his 1958 MG Hedgehog Special. At 39 years old, this nicely turned out 1973 Alfa GTV 2000 of Eric Ackroyd was the youngest car participating in Classic Car Friday. That's 40 years younger than this 1933 Alfa Romeo Monza, bravely driven by Brian Esterhazen. Hayden Franklin looked purposeful as he piloted this 1962 Austin Healey 3-litre BM7 up the hill, while Norman Frost's 1960 Healey Frog Eye Sprite wasn't hanging around either. Roy Jones didn't spare the horses as he hauled the 1935 Riley TT Sprite replica off the line, while the 1939 Lagonda V12 of Dickon Daggett was arguably one of the most handsome cars of the day, if not the most successful. By comparison, the Ford Escort RS 1600 of Fred Phillips was a spring chicken, at least in classic car terms. When the spray had settled after qualifying, it was the Alfa Monza of Esterhazen that took the Class H1 honours, while Class H4 belonged to a fearless Rodney Green in his 1952 Cooper Formula 2 car. The eye-catching Mercedes-Benz AMG 300 SEL of Norman Frost won Class H3, while the Ford-powered 1967 Malik of Louis Baker was the sole entrance in Class H5. Winning the highly competitive H2 class was Corbin Slubbert in her 1965 Austin Mini Cooper S. All that remained was the top 8 shootout to determine the classic conqueror. Baker took third spot in the very rapid Malik. But it was the tussle for first that had the crowd on their feet. Hollis pushed hard, but the E-Type driver had to be content with second spot, losing the Classic Conqueror title to Slubbert's Mini by less than 0.02 of a second. With Classic Car Friday a resounding success, expect an even bigger field of oldies for next year's event.